Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel Notes Valley. From this video, we are going to start the physics of class 12 and the first chapter is electric charges and fields. The link for accessing the PDF is available in the description box. Go and check now and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. So let's have a look at the main topics and concepts of the chapter. So the name of the chapter is electric charges and fields. Firstly, we are going to define the electric charge. Electric charge is the basic property of matter and which causes it to experience a force when it is near other electrically charged objects. Electrically charged object could be positively charged or negatively charged. So positive charge can be defined as excess of positive charge or deficiency of electrons, or negative charge is defined as excess of electrons. From the junior classes we know that like charges repel while the unlike charges attract each other. Now we are going to study the three methods of charging the objects, but in your textbooks only two are mentioned. So first is charging by rubbing. It is also called frictional method. In this case we have to take insulators. We know that insulators are those materials which resist the flow of electricity through them. So rubbing of insulators cause the transfer of charge, and the transfer of charge, its explanation is given by triboelectric series. You can see the triboelectric series here, in which the materials are arranged in such a way that which material will gain a negative charge or which will gain a positive charge, and only negative charge is transferred, which is due to the transfer of electrons. And this rubbing process is not applicable to the conductors, because in insulators when a charge is transferred it stays at the same place, whereas in conductors it flows away. And next is charging by contact, which is also called conduction. Conductors are those objects which allow the electricity to pass through them very easily, and which is due to the movement of free electrons through them. In this process, an uncharged body is made to contact with a charged body and it acquires the similar type of charge present in the charged body, whereas in the charging by rubbing, the charge acquired by the neutral body is of the opposite type than that is present in the charged body. Third method is charging by induction. In this we do not make the objects in contact and we only place them very close to each other, a neutral object and a charged object, and the charged object induces the opposite type of charge on its closer side in the neutral object, and we attach a earth wire to the other side of the object, and the excess charge, if the charge on opposite side is negative, then the electrons will flow to the ground, and if the charge on this side is positive, the electrons from the ground will be pulled to the neutral body, and then we remove the charged body and the earth wire, and in this way we got the charged body by induction. Next is properties of electric charge, which are mainly three, which are discussed in this chapter. First is additivity of charge. The total charge on any body is added algebraically. Mention the similarities and differences between the charge and mass. And the similarity is mass and charge both are scalar quantities and they are added algebraically. But the difference is mass is always positive, whereas the charge can be either positive or negative. Second is conservation of charge, and it states that in an isolated system the total charge remains constant at all times, or it can be stated in another way, that is, charge can neither be created nor be destroyed. Third one is quantization of charge. We have already studied in 10th and also in the chemistry chapter 2 of class +1 that the matter is not constant and quantized. Quantized means it is available in the form of small packets. When we have a huge amount of this, it appears to be continuous, but when we see small amounts or observe that carefully, then it comes to be discontinuous. So charges are also discontinuous and it is called the quantization of charge. And electric charges are always the integral multiples of basic unit of charge, and the basic unit of charge is E. E is the charge on one electron, that is 1.6 into 10 raised to the power minus 19 coulomb. So the total charge is equal to NE, where N is integer and E is the basic unit of charge. At macroscopic level, we can ignore the concept of quantization, but at microscopic level, it is very crucial. Now we come to the quantitative aspects of the electric charge. First is Coulomb's law, and it states that the force between 2 point charges, electrostatic force, is equal to K into Q1 into Q2 divided by R square. We have to take the magnitude of the charges, where K is the constant of proportionality, and experimentally calculated value of K is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. The epsilon naught is the permittivity of free space, and it has the value of 8.854 into 10 raised to power minus 12. The SI unit of electric charge is coulomb, which is denoted by C in SI, and 1 coulomb is defined as the charge when 1 ampere of electric current flows through a 1 meter wire in 1 second. Now we come to the principle of superposition, and it states that force on any charge due to a number of other charges is vector sum of all the forces on that charge by other charges individually, and it also states that the individual force is unaffected by the presence of other charges. Next we have charge density, just as the coefficient of expansion that we have studied in thermodynamics class 11th physics, and mainly it is the charge per unit dimension. First is linear charge density, that is represented by lambda. Second is superficial charge density, which is denoted by sigma, and in which we have to take the dimension as area. And third is volumetric charge density, which is denoted by rho, and we have to take volume as the dimension. Now we come to the electric field, which is the integral part of the title of the chapter, and it is a space or a region around a charged body in which another charged body experiences an electrostatic force. You have to remember two terms here, that are source charge and test charge. Source charge, which is the main field producing charge, and test charge is the unit positive charge which is placed in the electric field to experience the force. You may be wondering that is there any electric field of test charge, and the answer is test charge is negligibly small and is not capable of producing its own electric field. So we come here with a new definition of force, that is Q into electric field. Force is a vector and electric field is again a vector. Next topic is electric field lines, and these are imaginary lines representing the electric field intensity. For a positive charge, these lines are directed radially outwards, whereas for the negative charge, these lines are radially inwards. You can see when two similar positive charges are placed close to each other, the electric field lines take this form. And the another picture is showing when two opposite charges are placed close to each other. The next is properties of electric field lines, that is, no two field lines ever intersect each other, and the reason we have studied it in class 10th. Try to remember. The second property is field lines are always perpendicular to the conductor, and number of field lines is directly proportional to amount of charge. Field lines contract longitudinally during attraction between unlike charges. Field lines exert lateral pressure during repulsion between like charges, and these electric field lines never form closed loops. The next definition is regarding the uniform electric field and non-uniform electric field. The charge intensity is same everywhere, and the electric field lines are uniform and equally spaced in an uniform electric field, whereas the electric line density varies at different points in a non-uniform electric field. Electric field intensity is given by the force divided by test charge. It is a vector quantity and its SI unit is Newton per coulomb. Now there are different formulas for electric field intensity, and the first one is due to a long conductor, the electric field intensity is K lambda divided by R into sine phi 1 plus sine phi 2, and all the detailed derivation of these formulas are given below. You have to read them carefully and practice them yourself manually. and every case has some special cases which are also listed. The second derivation is regarding the electric field intensity due to a circular coil, that is given by E equal kqx divided by the square root of cube of r square plus x square. Now we come to another important quantity, that is electric dipole, and when the two charges of equal magnitude but opposite signs are separated by a small distance, we call it an electric dipole. An electric dipole moment is given by the product of charge and distance between the two charges. It is a vector quantity and it is a cross product then if it is a vector quantity. The net charge in an electric dipole is 0, but the net electric field is not 0 because the charge is scalar quantity but electric field is a vector quantity. Some of the characteristics of electric dipole are given below. You have to read them yourself. Now we come to the axial and equatorial points of a dipole, and axial points are those points which lie on the line joining the two charges of a dipole, and equatorial point are those points which lie on the perpendicular bisector of the line joining the charges of a dipole. And again we have find out in a very detailed manner the formulas for electric field at axial point and at equatorial point. You have to read yourself and practice them. Again, special cases are mentioned here and you have to also remember them for competitive exams. And whenever a dipole is placed in uniform electric field, it experiences a torque and hence it rotates. Torque is given by the cross product between P and E. E is the electric field and P is the dipole moment. Some of the special cases are mentioned below. Then we have electric flux. An electric flux is the total number of electric field lines crossing per unit area. Here we have to take the area vector. Area vector is the vector associated with area element and we have to take the component which is normal to the area. Electric flux is denoted by the symbol phi and which is equal to EA cos theta, which means that the dot product of E and A. Again, there are some special formulas for the flux, and now we are going to study very important law from this chapter, that is Gauss law, which will reduce our calculations. Gauss law states that the total electric flux over a closed surface is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times the total charge enclosed by the surface, and this law is true for all the closed surfaces, and mathematical expression is phi equal q by epsilon naught. First is we are going to find the field due to infinite long straight uniformly charged wire using the Gauss law. So you have to take an imaginary closed surface around the object for which you are going to find the electric field. The next is field due to uniformly charged thin spherical shell. We will find here at three positions. First is outside the shell, second is inside the shell, and third one is on the shell, I mean at the surface of shell itself. So guys, that's all for this video. We will meet in the next video with the notes of second chapter, electrostatic potential and capacitance. Till then, goodbye. Thank you.